Hi, hello, welcome to a new video. In this video, I will mention this meta-analysis published in 2007, and it is a meta-analysis of P50 studies in patients with schizophrenia and relatives, differences in methodology between research groups. And the title seems to be interesting to me because I'm curious whether they do meta-analysis study or they compare the methodologies. I think they do both of them because comparing the methodology is different, and it is a very prestigious journal, and the author is from the US or Netherlands, I don't know. So the authors are probably from all Netherlands. To determine whether patients with schizophrenia as well as their relatives show deficits in sensory gating reflected by an abnormal P50 ratio and to quantify the differences from controls. So if you're not sure what is P50 ratio, you should search the previous articles about it, and some even dislike the concept of P50, and they think that doesn't have sensory gating doesn't have any meaning. Some say that you cannot really measure it well or something. Anyway, but there is indeed literature about it, so we have to check the literature. A systematic research on articles published between 1982 and 2006 was conducted, and 28 patient studies. What is patient studies? I don't know. Maybe that were suitable for analysis, including 800, I think total of this retrieved, and 6 studies were identified on relatives of schizophrenic patients. I think saying schizophrenic is not a very polite way of calling, so it's not very good, including some relatives and controls. But I think they should mention which website they use to check those. In the patient studies, we found a P50 effect size of this. We confirmed high variability in outcomes across studies. It's interesting. High variability. Almost half of the studies included were published by one laboratory of the University of Colorado. So that I think there's one professor famous on this. So, and these results differ significantly from the results found in studies performed in other laboratories. Interesting. So, and they're quite honest about it. I like that. We found correlations between effect size and could be explained by other group. They should mention if the correlation is significant or not. But I assume that the correlation is significant, so they say we found. And in the relative studies, we found a mean P50 effect size of this. So it's highly differ. If something is highly differ, then the method has problem actually. Maybe they can conclude this. So that's why I find this study very interesting. The differences in methodology and lack of reported demographics and methodology, including raters, blinding in some studies, makes it hard to compare results across studies and to evaluate the validity and reliability and of P50 as a candidate endophenotype for schizophrenia. There are large differences in outcomes from Colorado studies and non-Colorado studies. In contrast to the Colorado studies, in the non-Colorado studies, oh god, it's so funny. Like it's like the Colorado studies, but I like their honesty and objective approach because normally I didn't see a single study saying like Colorado studies or non-Colorado studies. It's like and in contrast to the Colorado studies, P50 suppression wouldn't qualify as an endotype for schizophrenia. These differences might be explained by differences in methodology. So finally, we make some recommendations for future research based on the outcomes of this meta-analysis. So this is so interesting. So in contrast to the Colorado studies and the non-Colorado studies, P50 Separation wouldn't qualify as an endophenotype for schizophrenia, so it doesn't have any meaning, and only Colorado studies approved it. So these guys are like quite against that Colorado, that professor. There's a leading professor, I forgot his name, and he's dedicated on these type of research. And then I guess so he is leading them. So that's why this is Colorado study. So and then he's saying like the other guys outside of Colorado doesn't really confirm these studies. Interesting. But I know some people. I know a group in China, and also they have some studies approving the P50. Anyway, interesting. And you can, if you are more interested in, you can check the videos of that Colorado professor from Colorado, and you can see his studies. And his papers are like he keeps self-referring, and then it sounds like so interesting, like and also very amazing because people keep, it's like they are doing research in a field that you're the best, so it shows that. But at the same time, they should be open for criticism indeed, and they should focus on measuring it more objectively. Anyway, that's all I want to say, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.